Hi, so we're back up in the office this afternoon for a slightly different lesson. This is a lesson that I quite often teach students and one-to-one clients, but it's not a how-to or should-do lesson. It's not a practical lesson at all. It's more of a philosophical thought process, really. And I like to call it the respect concept of green zone training and living with our dogs. So, coming up to my 65th birthday, I've lived with quite a few dogs over the years, and obviously I've trained many, many more. And through experience and getting older, no doubt, I tend to sort of try and think things through a little bit more. And this is where this thought process comes from. And what I want to do today really is I just want to go through this table with you. And if you take one thing away from this, I just want you to give it some thought, really, because if you put this one thing into practice, however you see fit and are able to do so, I promise you your dog's behaviour will get better and your relationship will definitely improve with your dogs as well. Okay? Everyone will just simply be happier for it. So what this table shows pretty much time, energy, emotional and financial expenditure. So the amount of time and energy you spend, possibly the amount of money, and certainly the amount of emotional expenditure you put in when dealing or living with our dogs. And of course, you can choose, this is the secret, guys, you can choose how you spend any of those things. And I just want to start down here on this baseline for you. So this baseline really, this represents the absolute worst case baseline, in effect, purgatory. Absolutely hell for your dog, okay, and for you living with your dog. And it's also the way some people, some old-fashioned trainers, used to deal with dogs, okay? And all they are ever doing is simply punishing, okay, or correcting unwanted behaviour. They spend all their time, energy, effort, possibly it costs them money, okay, to correct unwanted behaviour. Now, what we see is those people that have a little bit more savvy about them, okay, and particularly our modern dog owners, I like to think, okay, well, they probably spend 50% of their time saying yes to their dog for good behaviour, and probably the other half of the time correcting unwanted behaviour or saying no to the dog. And here I'm talking about no in the more traditional sense, not my marker word. So what I want to do really, I want you to just see this. Yeah, if you spend all your time here, it can only be purgatory. All right. Now, the average dog owner, let's say 50, 50, half the time spent here and there. What I want to do is I want to take that 50% and I want you to take that as your baseline. Okay, so I'm going to cover that up. And the moment we cover it up and we accept the fact that we should be telling our dogs when they do the right thing and rewarding them and using our yes marker, okay, the picture looks totally different, doesn't it? Now, the yellow arrows, I hope you can see those, or my golden arrows, okay, those are representative of the movement of direction. So, in other words, what we want to be doing is we want to be saying yes much, much more than we're saying no. It really is as simple as that. And we can do that by managing the environment. Of course, we can. Okay, but we can also do it by training and by also being in the moment with the dog. Take control. You should be in control of your dog. Okay, and you can actually affect how you spend, yeah, that time, energy, and effort. So our ideal is that we want to be moving in the upright direction, upwards, for the best achievable outcome and our heavenly goal. And remembering that this is also representative of a timeline, this timeline can be a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year. And what we find is that we spend more time, if we put the effort in there, if we put that expenditure in there, we can spend much, much more time in the green zone and a lot less time in the red zone. We can actually move this line upwards. And for most people that I work with, our sweet spot is about there. Because we don't live in a perfect world, and our dogs aren't perfect, and more importantly, we're not perfect. And sometimes we get it wrong and we're not in the moment, okay? Or we believe that we give the dog too much credit or the environment too much credit. We trust the environment. So things are always likely to go slightly wrong. And what we can see is here, though, if we put all the expenditure in here, look how much time we've got. Time, effort, energy, emotional expenditure, yeah, financial outlay. Okay. You can see what happens. And you will go, I promise you, if you try to implement this just as a concept, okay, you will go, as I do, I go days upon this line. Sometimes I go weeks upon this line. Then I might drop a little bit, okay? And I'm here on Monday, I go back up here on Tuesday or Wednesday, and Friday something happens or I've missed something, okay? Or the dogs have reacted because they've got their own brains, okay? And we just drop down here. But can you understand this as a concept? I hope you can, because if you try to work towards this, put your time and energy into the dog. Don't just keep giving your dog your attention down here. Give your dog your attention to stay up above that 50% line, okay, with the aim of moving it up here. If it moves, it moves. That's fine. This is the real world. But the idea is to stay in that green zone. Through management, through time, through effort, okay? And your relationship will flourish. I promise you. If you can stay up here with your dog, okay, you will love that dog more than probably any other dog that you've owned before. So that's the lesson for today. The respect concept of green zone training and living with our dogs. Bye.